Hey, cybersecurity fans, welcome to this video. Buckle up, because 2024 was a wild ride in the digital world. We had AI gone rough, hackers playing geopolitical games, and more data breaches than you can shake a stick at. Don't worry, I'm here to break it all down for you, and in this video, we will dive into the biggest cybersecurity stories of this year. Lesson learned, and what you need to know to stay safe in 2025. Think of it your cybersecurity survival guide for the year ahead. If you're ready, let's start. My name is Dr. Erdal Ozkaya, and currently I work as Chief Information Security Officer and Cybersecurity Strategist at Mavacap, which is the parental company for Exitum and many other companies. I'm an author of multiple books, which has been translated to multiple languages that you can always find out later in your favorite search engine. All right, this video is going to have a second part. In the first part, we're going to focus on the major attacks which happened this year. And in the second part, please go ahead and watch it later. You're going to learn about my predictions that I foresee which is going to happen in 2025. If you're ready, as I said, buckle up. It's not a secret. Cybersecurity is a major concern for businesses, organizations, governments, and individuals like yourself. The security landscape is constantly evolving, and we all know that we have to be ahead of this curve to stay secure. And this presentation is equipped to give you all what you need. Let's review what happened in 2024. Of course, I'm not going to have unlimited time. I picked 10 events which I believe had a major impact in the world. Why I'm talking about this? Because if you want to know the future, you have to look at the past. And this is exactly why we're covering the trends. As I mentioned, 2024 is a year marked by significant cyber attacks, impacting various sectors worldwide. And the summary is here. Out of 9,478 publicly disclosed incidents, we had more than 35 billion breach records. Again, only close to 9,500 publicly disclosed incidents, 35 billion breaches. So, what are those? The biggest one was mother of all breaches, which by itself had 26 billion records. Many organizations, such as Twitter, with the new name X, Adobe, LinkedIn, Zing, MyFitnessPal, was unfortunately affected by this attack. Then, the second one, in my opinion, was the national data breach. If you're living here in the United States, then most probably your social security number, your names, your addresses, and many other personal details has been breached by the national public data breach. Is this all? No. You could be going to a concert, and this could be in UK, in Australia, or in any other country that Ticketmaster exists. And unfortunately, they've been hacked as well. So, hackers, they don't know just your social security number, your financial details, but they have also access to your favorite music, to your favorite shows. Or you might use one of the big four audit companies, such as Deloitte. This happened just yesterday, and today is December 6th. It was publicly disclosed that they've been hacked by Brain Chipper ransomware group. And they claim 1 terabyte of data theft. Just imagine, your secrets has been now shared with hackers, unwillingly of course. Or what about Chinese hackers? They use the Ghost Spider malware to hack across telecoms across 12 countries. When we just look at US by itself, you will see AT&T had a major breach, and unfortunately, the hackers were able to download all your call and text logs and the customers who you called, who you text, and when and how long. This affected more than 73 million customers by itself. T-Mobile had a similar attack, and unfortunately not just one time. The first publicly disclosed breach happened in August 2021. 76 million customers were affected. Then in January 2023, they had an API exploitation. Another 37 million customers been affected. Just 3 months later, they had another data exposure. Around last year in November, they had a glitch in the system updates. The glitch was never explained. And in November 2024, if you're following my blog or me at LinkedIn, I also wrote an article that they had another breach, which they didn't disclose the details. So it's an ongoing cycle. But unfortunately, this was not all. Another 145 million people's names, addresses, social security numbers, and on top of it, medical records has been compromised because of the change healthcare. I wish the damage was just by that. Change healthcare provider had to pay 22 million US dollars in ransom to get our data back. So somehow they sold our data, then they paid. The hackers, they bought or they steal our data. On top of it, they sold it back to the organization. And I'm pretty sure they have a copy, which means Change didn't just lose $22 million. They gave all our information and they were down for so long. TeamViewer, they had also a security breach in 2024. They verified that cyber attackers targeted credentials link to an employee's account. From there, the hackers had access to TeamViewer's corporate IT domain, which granted the intruders unauthorized entry to confidential data, potentially underharming the software security. What is TeamViewer known for? Remote connections. Just imagine you're given access to someone to help you or to connect into your computers or to share some data or remotely connecting to a remote site. Remotely connecting to a remote site. I know. And now all this connection details are in hackers' hands. When we look at Disney, unfortunately, they had also an attack. It started, like most of the other attacks, with phishing. They had an endpoint exploration, and as a result, data exploration. So this is ongoing. In these cases, it's, at least in Europe, by law, that you have to disclose these issues. You have to go to law enforcement. Just imagine you like Ticketmaster, for example, they've been breached and they go to police, to law enforcement to get help. What if law enforcement itself gets hacked? And this is exactly what happened to Europol. Unfortunately, they had a major data breach where more than 9,000 confidential records has been shared or given or stolen by hackers. You choose the word. And this had a major impact on the ongoing operations because now the secret ongoing operations is in the hand of hackers. Is this all? No. Microsoft had also a breach, but this time target attack by an executive. Attackers stole emails and attached documents via password spraying. What does password spraying again? Password spraying is basically they use a limited number of stolen passwords and try to log in through a text attack, sort of a brute force attack with a known tax. And unfortunately, one Microsoft executive or few Microsoft executives were affected with this attack. So stakes had never been that high. Forget about your grandma's virus scan. As I mentioned in my beginning, we are talking about AI-powered hacking, quantum code breaking, and social media turning into a minefield. The digital world is about to get a whole lot more dangerous. And you saw the examples. Phishing, spear phishing, attacks now being powered by AI. Password spray has been most probably mined in social media or in dark web. And all this put together is giving cyber threat actors power. When we put everything together, we see 6 categories which affected the landscape of 2024. As I just mentioned, AI, deepfakes, social engineering, AI-driven phishing attacks, AI-built malware has unfortunately affected many organizations. Supply chain attacks, they didn't go anywhere. It's there for years. Just imagine you buy SolarWinds to have a secure channel you buy SolarWinds as a customer to use their software and you get hacked through them because hackers attacked SolarWinds. They use a secure channel to get into your organization. And you might be a cybersecurity company who can be breached this way. Remember the Fireware attack? They had that attack and they disclosed this and they handled it well. But this is an attack vector that can affect even cybersecurity companies. Or you might not care about what happened to SolarWinds, but I'm pretty sure you use at least once CC cleaner. What is CC cleaner? It basically cleans the cache and some unnecessary folders in your computer. It tunes it up for you. Just imagine you download CC cleaner from the website and you compare the hashes, but guess what? The hashes were not compared by them few years ago, and as a result, hackers were able to reach into your computers to do this attack. There were many critical infrastructure attacks on healthcare, energy, and government systems. Some of them by threat actors, nation-state threat actors, some of them by money seekers, and some of them by hacktivists. But this affected, unfortunately, landscape as well. Ransomware. Ransomware has now double extortion tactics. Data leak sites and ransomware service becomes more prevalent. And few examples that you saw in my slides that some organization paid multi-million dollars to get the data back. Cloud attacks, they are also not going anywhere, or they were very effective here. Exploiting weaknesses in the cloud security configurations and insecure IoT devices has helped hackers to breach multiple organizations. The world is not in peace. There are geopolitical tensions fueling cyber activities. Nation-state attacks and cyber espionage increased in 2024, and the sophistication is unfortunately so high that we have difficulties to defend against those attacks. So, why did I select those examples for you? Because there are some lessons that you can learn and hopefully that you can implement mitigations. First thing, forget about your traditional security. Traditional security is still detection based. What is detection based? It is basically fighting a fire after it's already ablaze. Traditional security relies on detecting threats after they have been infiltrated your systems, leaving you vulnerable to damage, breaches, and downtime. And all those organizations had those issues. What I'm trying to say is we have to shift our mind. Traditional security only recognizes and prevents known malware. What about the unknown malwares? What about the 450,000 malware which has been released to the wild every single day? And this is just in the edge of AI live. What if when AI gets more powerful? What if when quantum computers are more accessible? How are we going to defend? So we have to think what we can do now before it's too late. 0 days. Those are expensive attacks and usually highly targeted by nation states. 0 day means, threat light means you are unprotected during that window. For example, the first WannaCry attack. If you remember, there was a Eternal Blue 0 day, which has been used by agency. Then Microsoft found out about this 0 day. They patched the organization, the weakness, and guess when the first WannaCry happened after WannaCry cyber attack happened after this patch? Is it 2 hours later, 2 days later, 2 weeks later, or 2 months later? If you listen to any of my presentations, I keep asking these questions, and by now you should know the answer. It took 2 months for the first ransomware attack to happen after this patch was released. So there is one more thing which is obvious. We are not patching. We are not up to date, which gives hackers a huge playground to launch their attacks. So, in summary, what should you learn on the attacks that I shared from you? First of all, traditional security is something that you get rid of. We have to have proactive security. You have to have a threat hunting team. You have to automate your vulnerability scanning. If possible, have third parties, penetration testing, red teaming, blue teaming, and those are all crucial for identifying and mitigating threats before they can cause damage. You have to have an incident response plan. It is really important. If you don't have a well-defined incident response plan to minimize downtime and occur quick, then you're going to suffer. Employee awareness. If phishing is still effective, it means your employees still are not aware of the dangers. When did you do the last phishing simulation attack in your organization as a CISO, as a security manager, or as CIO, or as someone who works in IT team? Please ensure that you have an awareness training based on employee's role. If you give a basic employee training to IT staff and advanced employee phishing training to sales staff, then those trainings not going to be effective. Try to tailor the training based on your organization and their needs. The other thing is collaboration. Collaboration is getting more and more important because without threat intelligence, without collaboration, other organizations, government agencies are gonna stay behind of the attacks. So it is important to collaborate. Let's put all this into sector-specific insights. Healthcare. In the first half of 2024, there was 4 to 5 million breach healthcare records. And this is close to 10% decrease from the same period in 2023. The financial sector was not different. The average total cost in a data breach went up from 5.7 million to 5.85 million just this year. When we look at the utilities and energy sector, unfortunately, nearly 70% increase was seen compared to last year. Retail sector was not different. When it comes to retail sector, we see most of the breaches happens still with phishing and simple malware. So, which anti-malware solutions are you using? Is it the one that was hacked or the ones they stop all these breaches? It's simple. We need cyber transparency. Looking at cyber transparency, if cybersecurity vendors were able to transparently share or forced to be share their details, then you could learn and select it accordingly. It's like when you buy a car, there is a testing, which usually they do crash testing and they share the results. And when you buy a car, usually you prefer 5-star rating instead of 2-star rating. Why don't we have the same thing when it comes to endpoint security? Yes, I know there's many tests happening by vendors, but one thing is for sure that those vendors only share with you what you want, what they want you to know, not what they know. So this is something important that we have to look in 2025. Governments, I had a couple of examples. Unfortunately, government sectors are still like dinosaur. Not every government agency, I'm talking worldwide, is ready for advanced cyber attacks. So when it comes to governments, they have to learn a lot to protect our or their citizen data. And while education sector, for example, universities, make us ready. And I'm a professor myself in a university. They are not ready against cyber attacks, and they keep get breached. You can see the numbers in my blog post while going to my blog, but unfortunately, they are not doing well as well. Did I mention anything new compared to my video in 2023? Or if you watch my video in 2022, I'm doing this kinds of recording since I think 2018. Every year, the only changing thing is probably the organization names, the payment they do, the amount of payment they do, and the increases. The attack factors are still same. Yes, it's getting more sophisticated, but they can learn. We can learn from those if we just implement the basics. So, what's going to happen in 2025? For this, you have to go ahead and watch the second part of this video where I'm going to predict what's going to happen next year. So far, we are still in 2024, and if you watch this video before 2025 arrives, I wish all of you a happy new year. And thank you very much for watching this video, and don't forget to keep in touch. My name is Dr. Erdal, and I'm here to help wherever you need to. Thank you very much.